Hello everyone, nice to see you again. I'm Chris, and this is my third episode of my fantastic adventure. In this series, I research at some company, and then to have a short interview with them and let me to tell me more about their company. And this time, we visit CONTRINEX. It's a very interesting sensor company. Let's start. So what is CONTRINEX? So it is a company is scripted at 1972 in Sweden. It's more than 15 years of sensor technology. They are providing the IP high product offering. For example, IP68 or IP69K, something like this. And they have more than 8,000 of products and more than 500 of employees in whole world to support their customer and do the development and sales and marketing, all the stuff. And in Japan, their office in Tokyo. So you may think about that. What kind of application that CONTRINEX is using? That you use CONTRINEX sensor. So in the right hand side, you see some pictures. Actually, CONTRINEX sensor will be used in the inside the ship or in the machining center, or in the pressing machine, or in the robot, or the it means for the wiring, and also for the wind power station. All these site will use CONTRINEX sensor. Okay, before we continue our slide, let me introduce myself. I'm Chris. I come from Hong Kong. Now I'm working with some factory automations. And if you want to know a little bit more about me, then you can see my blog. Here's my YouTube channel, and here's my Twitter. Okay, let's start. So when I have a talk with the CONTRINEX technical support manager, then they told me that please take a very good, very deep view to the smart sensor. So what is this smart sensor? It is a sensor that with 40-bit high performance distance measurement. Then they also have AB contacts, and alarm can be set inside the sensor. AB contact is just some description in I think Japan. This is definitely NONC contacts. Okay, and all the parameter setting you can read IO link to set it. It's very convenient. And they have three types of sensor. They have basic type, digital measurement sensor. It's a DMS. They also have analog measurement sensor. It's AMS. For the basic type of DMS, actually very similar. They have dual outputs. They have dual outputs. You can configure the on-off delay functions, alarm functions, counter functions, and for the M12 size, you can detect up to 10 mm. And they also have the temperature monitoring functions, and you can store the data inside the sensor. It's a very interesting function. You can store outside some external devices inside the sensor. And for the DMS, you can configure the pin 2, this pin, as a input also. So you will think it's very interesting. Why I need to configure the pin 2 as an input? So maybe sometime for the very small application, you don't have so many IOs. At that time, you can use this pin to configure as an input. Then you can make an AND logic to a couple sensors, and then to output a signal then to your PLC something. For example, you have a conveyor, then you have then you can just collect 3 inputs, 3 outputs, and then to this pin 2. For example, the first one is the bottle is detect, and the label is detect, and the cover is put. Then you can set this bottle is okay, so you can do something complex logic like this. And for the analog types, AMS is very similar, but for the pin 2, now this time it will output as 0 to 10 voltage. It means that you can configure this 0 to 10 voltage as the distance, then you can use this pin directly to connect to your IO device inside PLC. You get more high response time. You only just get the data with our link. And anyway, this because I have a talk with the technical support manager on, I think on last year December, so that they said they will release this AMS sensor in this year, and their customer is very happy to see this type of sensors. So sorry they only have Japanese in here, but for using this smart sensor, you can measure the distance, you can measure the angles, you can measure a hole inside or not, and the vibration, so many things. Then in Japan, the technical manager is very powerful and very high tech, with very high technical background. So many customers will just bring their products, something they would like to detect, and then to go to the CONTRINEX Japan office to say, hey, is that okay to do this type of application? And then the technical support manager say, okay, we will do. Let me sit down and take a coffee and have a discussion. Then they'll make the application, make the demo for them. So if you have any problem with detecting something, I don't know how it work or not, please feel free to contact CONTRINEX. They will help you. So this is a very classic or normal configuration in the site. All the outing master is connected by using PLC field bus, maybe Ethernet IP, Modbus, Ethercat, anything. And you can event output by using the OSS2, but also the input as the config as the input to implement a sensor-to-sensor communications. So it's a very normal configuration. I think I don't need to explain too much in here. So here is a video that I show you. In here you can see that it's a rotating switch to rotate the distance between the sensor and the detection object. Then in the screen you directly see the value, the scaling. You can see that the scaling is very smooth and very good. Here, very beautiful curve in here. Okay. Then I'll show you some applications. It is spindle detections. So for the tube detections in some limit small locations, you can use smart sensor. Because the sensor is just a M12 size, you can use this to detect the position of your sensors and any incomplete tube replacement. You know that if you don't install your tubes in a correct way, or you miss to install your tubes, you may crash your machine. So it's very important. And this sensor, by using this sensor, the system will be very cheap and simple. But also, you can detect not just the distance and the operating cycle and temperature are recorded in the internal memory. So here is a slide that I get from the technical support manager. Then in the right hand side, you can see that a spindle. You use a pan to simulate a spindle. Then you see here's a smart sensor. When the spindle is more close to the smart sensor, you see the distance from 70% and then little bit down until 40% something. It's very beautiful curve also. That means that you can use the smart sensor in this type of a spindle detect applications. Okay, so I also introduced some interesting products in CONTRINEX for you. The first one is a protective tube. It's OPTFE. And what did they do? They do winding cable protections. And they can make sure that all your cables or features inside will do not dissolve. So I'll show you two videos in here. This one is the tubes. You can see after I use a lighter to burn the tubes, you see you will not have any fire. You have just some crash that is go down, right? Okay, in this video that I use directly a lighter to burn the tube, then you see doesn't have any fire. It's very good protection tool for your cables. Then maybe you ask, do the fire and when you're winding with the fire that fit go inside the gaps, because you see you need to input the cable by using this gap. Hey, it may, but let me say you need to take the rest. You want the sparking will go inside the gaps, or you want your whole cables will be damaged because of the fire. It's always put on your cables without any protections. You need to take your rest. But if me, I will use it too, because I don't think you have so many chances to the sparking will go inside the gaps. But it depends on you. Okay. And here's a very interesting application by using this sensor. It's SKUTRUC23B something. It's an IP67. Then using our link, you can detect the distance with 0 to 1000 mm. Then by the video, hey, you see detect the water inside a bottle. In transparent bottle is a very strong anyway, because it's not very easy to detect this type of objects, but for CONTRINEX it is very easy. And depends on applications, you can detect in this way. For example, this one's the only one transparent frame is detect. You can see here, no frame, yes, a frame, application 1. And then for second application is 2 frame overlap, you detect. Now it's 1, okay, again, 1 frame, no detect. But when 2 frames are overlapped, you detect. A very interesting application also. Then that's why I asked you, then you may need to go to CONTRINEX office and then sit down with them and tell you what you want to detect. They will find the best way for you. Okay, so and I'll also introduce a very good sensors that the technical support inside CONTRINEX told me. It's a wire resistant proximity sensors. So what is that? It is a utilization of spanner resistant environment. So it is a silicone coating that with iron interface, the temperature is from -25 degrees to 85 degrees with IP68 or 69K. Then in this picture, you can see there's 2 types and one sensors. You have two interface, 2 phase, I think, not in the surface. In the right hand side is without the coating, and the right hand side is with coating of CONTRINEX sensor. You can see it's totally different. In the right hand side, you didn't see any damage. Okay, so here then it's just another video. The technical support manager is very funny. He just use a brush to try to see what happens when you use the sensor. Yeah, to play with that brush. So I'll show you the videos. I do like this, and after that I take the pictures. You see there's not so many damage inside. It's very strong sensors. Okay, so and I also introduced a very interesting product for them is a chip mute sensors. So it's no any reactive to tips from 20 to 25 to 85 degrees. Also a very high IP protections. They have ironing interface. It's very suitable to milling, drilling, and drilling applications. Then some German leading automotive company equipment manufacturers is using these type sensors. How do you use it? I also show you some very fantastic videos that from CONTRINEX Japan. For example, the first one, all these trips will not detect. You see here, aluminum board detect, but for these tips will not. Right? In the second one, you see the trips while they put on the aluminum sheet, will also be checked without any problem. And finally, even there's a very big noise garbage, this CONTRINEX sensor is no problem for them. They will not do any error detections. You see here. But sense coming forward is okay, but you don't detect even it's very big iron striping. It's very good sensors really. Okay, I think I speak more than 50 minutes. Finally, I will show you the last device that showed me. It's called pocket color device. The main cost is around, I don't know, it's US dollar, is around 30,000 yen. Yen is Japanese yen. And you can see the data directly from outlink device to your mobile phones. And with the basic software, it's free of charge, but they also have the subscription license. And if you buy subscription license, you can change the parameters of the outlink sensors. But you will ask why? When can I need to pay for the subscription? Actually, if you just want to see actually what's happening of this outlink sensor, then you can just use the free license. No need to buy the subscription license. But for example, if you the production department or the maintenance department, you need to modify your machine or you need to check your machine. That time you may need to change the parameters inside your outlink sensors. At this time, you may need this license, so you can separate the rights that who can touch the parameters and who cannot. Okay, finally, oh sorry, yes, a little bit Japanese in here, but here is my end of my videos. I hope you like this. And for this QR code, you can access my the blog that in my homepage that is relating to the CONTRINEX sensors. And if you have any problem, it's really feel free to ask CONTRINEX, not just Japan, but your local office. They are very happy to help you. My video in here is finished. I hope you might like my videos. And next time, I don't know which company that I will visit, but I hope I see you next time. Okay, have a good day. See you next time. Bye bye.